Well, hey, good morning. Welcome to another BlueGamer Bluecast morning show. I'm your host, Adam Blue. And, well, I just realized my shirt, other side, even looks like it's the morning. Huh, pretty neat. Okay. Well, welcome. We're going to go through some video game news. Autonomous seeing you in the chat. Good morning. Yeah, we're going to go through some video game news, talk about what I did a little bit video game wise. And, yeah, let's see what's been going on. First of all, I think we talked about it yesterday. I pretty much gave up on this unit, although I just heard just now, and I haven't looked into it much, a new update came out for the, actually, I don't know if it's for the stock OS or the Battlesera OS. Whatever the case, I need to try it and see if it fixes the issue where this thing just craps out all the time. It's actually super disappointing. But what I did was I took that SD card I was using. I have so many little micro SD cards now. And I put it into... So I have a Fire Stick TV that I got a dongle for the USB port that splits it so you get power and external storage. So I had there was a USB extension, and then it could only go up to 256 with the USB stick. But I found an adapter that has an SD card, and so far I was able to put a 512 micro SD card. Anyway, I was able to make it where the Fire Stick TV, you can plug it into any TV, play any game with the controllers. It's awesome because I just kind of want to have it to where I could be anywhere and play these games, or take it with you anywhere, or build arcade cabinets. The thing about the Fire Stick TV is, the homebrew community is still trying to figure it out. Apparently, Emulation Station works on it. I couldn't get it to work. I just need a friendlier front end, because if you're just using RetroArch to access games, it could be a little cumbersome if you don't know what you're doing. And I'm trying to think of it as a level. How can I make this easy for anyone, to play games and all that? So then, it was... So yesterday, I did get some gaming done yesterday. Not a whole lot, but it was mainly against more Dragon's Dogma. And, this time I was finishing up some quests. And I was at a place, further south on the map where I was like, you know what? I have another quest to do, but I haven't explored this whole area. And there's this little decision tree, I think, that happens with people in games. And some games are made a certain way or not, where it's when you see areas you haven't been to, it's like, do you explore or do you wait until you get an objective that tells you to go that way, So I was like, you know what? No, I'm just going to go explore and see what's going on. And it was pretty crazy. In fact, I wonder if I can bring up the screenshots while I'm talking about it. Did I already close Steam just to kind of save resources? Because what happened was I'm just walking along this canyon quarry. I don't know what it was exactly. And just the enemies and the things you come up against. Let's Dragon's Dogma 2. Let's see. Here we go. Let me show, if it lets me show off some of the screenshots. Screen share. Okay, let me make this bigger. So here is where on the left is this giant golem, and right in the middle is this giant bird. And me and my team were fighting the golem, and then this giant bird comes down and it starts attacking the golem until my team started attacking the bird, and then the bird started attacking us. That was me running away. I wanted to get a good shot because the bird was behind me yelling at the golem, but you can't really see it that well there. There's another shot of the bird running around. And then here's the neat part. Right before I got to that fight scene, I looked off in the distance and there's a dragon. And I was debating to fight it because I've actually fought and killed a dragon. Before, I've only done it once. Most of the time they just murder me. And usually I have wake stones, which is a stone that when you die, it just revives you, which is pretty nice to have on you. And I have a lot now, actually. That's the thing with this game, is the further you go in, the more you get all these things that seem rare at first. But, yeah, this is... what was cool, though, is when I was watching the dragon, it was actually fighting 2 giant werewolves, which was awesome. So it's like I could have went in there and intervened, did something, but I was like, nah, I'll... Let's see, what other screenshots I have going on around here? Oh, in the background there's a giant There's some endgame stuff. I'll skip that. Yeah, there's that giant again. That was an awesome battle. I don't even think I took screenshots of that battle with the giant. It's like I've done it twice. It's an awesome battle. And then hey, there's my pawn in my house. Yeah. Anyway, tons of like Dragon's Dogma is great. You know, it is. It's just, and the thing is, I would rather play a game that wasn't fantasy themed. It's just the combat, the systems, the gameplay in Dragon's Dogma is just so fun. Like, I even consider the other game I mention here all the time, Sniper Elite 5, to be kind of the same thing. It's just Sniper Elite 5 is broken up into smaller zones. But again, it's that emergent gameplay. You can choose and do whatever you want, and you never know what's going to happen, and each time it's going to be different. I love that. And that's mainly what I did yesterday, I guess, because I'm taking it easy with this game. That's how much I like it. I know I could put in maybe a few hours a week. Now that there's more other games that I'm going to be playing, I could put in a few hours a week, and just have so much fun, be transported to another world. And I'm trying to think of like the other games that I'm wanting to play. Like there's Castlevania games I'm wanting to play. Like I started Circle of the Moon again to try to finish it, but it's like, you know what? I want to go back to Aria of Sorrow and completely finish it. In terms of, you know, even if I get the endings, there's still some, I want to get map completions on everything. I got that on Harmony of Dissonance, but I when I was doing some save transferring, I actually lost some of my data. Not a lot, but I have to go back and like fight the last boss or whatever. I don't mind. Was there anything else on here? I need to do this 9-bit armies update because this game is great. But you know what? I think that's really all that I have in terms of new gaming stuff I've been doing. Yeah, because that's really it. There's during the week, you know, it's hit and miss. But let's jump into some news. Speaking of Dragon's Dogma 2 update will reduce the infection frequency of Dragon's Plague. I guess I have been so lucky that I have not come across this because I do switch out pawns often. And I'm somehow avoiding this. Watch, I go load up my game and something happens. So what it is basically is that Dragon's Plague is just like some virus, in-game virus that you can get, and your pawn can get it, and then depending on where you visit, you could spread it to others. And I don't know what it does exactly, other than maybe reduce health. Let's see. It's a disease-like condition. Elsewhere, treasure chests that have already been acquired will no longer be displayed on the minimap. Okay, I'm glad that I just read this because that was something else that I would be tricked. I would say, oh, a chest. I'd go to it. It's like, wait. Okay, so Capcom said the adjustments and fixes listed below will be released on each platform as soon as they are ready. So reducing the infection frequency, adding the option to zoom in on the faces of the Arisen and pawns in the status screen. That never came to me. Fixing some issues and implementing adjustments related to the minimap. Okay, I have no problem with the minimap, but if they can fix things. Oh, the treasure chest is probably the main thing. Adjustments to pawns' behavior and dialogue. Okay. Occasionally the player couldn't high-five pawns. Oh, okay. I thought that was just the cross-section of all the emergent gameplay, but there's some times where a pawn wants to high-five, I go up to them and nothing happens, and I was like, oh, okay. Wouldn't start guiding after offering a guide. Luckily, that hasn't been an issue. Making pawns less likely to fall off cliffs. That hasn't happened often, but that's nice. Reducing frequency of some pawn dialogue lines. Yeah, I was always reminded constantly by my pawns that I always had an all-woman party. Let's see. More likely to aid the Arisen if the Arisen commands them to help while being held by enemies. Interesting. Fixing issues where some escort quests are considered failed when accessing character. Oh, I don't know what that means. Although it was interesting that there was a mission that I had potentially failed, but I've been reading online that it's a bug. But I don't know if there's anything we can do about that other than playing the game again. Players could be jailed when fighting monsters in town. Oh, luckily I haven't had that happen, because sometimes you'll just be in a town and then there'll be an ogre or something that shows up. Miscellaneous. Okay, yeah. Great. I'm glad there's an update. I'm sure there'll be more. Excellent game. Everyone should play it if you haven't. So far, it's my game of the year, even over Helldivers. Like, I love Helldivers, but this just pulls me in so much. Let's see. Let's go back. All right. Huh. Raised by Wolfstar, Abu Bakar Salim wants to play Kain in Legacy of Kain adaptation. So I remember this game back in the day, vampire-based lore, mythology, and then like I remember the Dreamcast versions coming out when they went to 3D, and they were actually pretty revolutionary for the time, I think, making 3D action games. But adaptation, so this makes sense. We saw with Fallout, like, it's popular for them. People are jumping back into the games, and I think this is an awesome trend, because I think the other part of it is the showrunners have to know that the show has to look and feel like the game, and there's a connection there. So what was interesting about Fallout is they didn't have a Fallout game prepared, and they won't have one for a little while, but they probably wanted to have one out right now. So with Legacy of Kain is maybe that what they do, they plan a show, and let's say that's 6 months to a year out from I would even say a year from filming, another year of filming. I think if they start the game right now, they can work on a release like that. I want to see that more. I want to see like the new Halo game that comes out, and then there's a Halo movie. You know, let's pretend the TV shows didn't happen. Even though the Halo TV shows have awesome action scenes in it. Steven, good to see you. I'm surprised Dragon Dogma 2 is your game of the year, since you're not much of a fantasy guy, right? At least compared to sci-fi. Exactly. That's what's so crazy about Dragon's Dogma 2 is like, I like it despite I don't really care too much about fantasy, but it's like, how else can I get this gameplay? And then Ultronymous Legacy of Kain never did finish all the games that they wanted. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like, I keep hearing this series being brought back up all the time by creatives in the industry, and fans are like, we can't wait for the next one. So I'm not even gonna try. Chronicle is moving forward with a sequel despite its creator's death. Aw, how sad. R.I.P. Yoshitaka Murayama, the creator of Suikoden and its spiritual successor, Yuuden Chronicles, passed away in February due to complications with ongoing illness. Oh, I remember hearing about this. Yeah, Murayama created the Suikoden series in the 1990s and produced, wrote, and directed the first 3 games in the series before leaving Konami to become a freelance developer. Ah, yeah, that's... Well, okay, so that's cool that they're continuing on with this. Let's see. The studio replied that plans for a sequel had already been laid out by Murayama before his death, and that those plans would continue to go ahead. Yeah, you'd want to finish what someone has started to get their creation out there. So, is this my type of game? I don't know. When it comes to... I love the art style. That's fantastic. But there's talking there. Let's see. The action looks turn-based, but I don't know. I like that art style. It's really well done. Yeah, not my thing, but R.I.P., you know? Kenna Bridge of Spirits has been rated for Xbox Series X. Interesting. This was a game that was, I want to say, was it PS5 and Epic Store exclusive at first? Amazing graphics. I'm probably halfway or a little more than halfway through this game, and I just stopped. I got my fill of it, but it actually is really good. Looking at the screen makes me want to go back to it. Really cool that if it sees that kind of resurgence, like it comes back on Xbox and people are talking about, that might get me to go back and finish it up. Great game. It is hard, but it's a lot of fun. And no, I never played Suikoden on PS1, if I'm pronouncing it right. You know what? A lot of anything on PS1 or in that time period that looked like a JRPG, I avoided, because if it's a turn-based style action game with a lot of talking, I I can't get into them. It all started on Super Nintendo when I would get the Final Fantasy games. I would rent them, and I would be like, "This is boring." But it's interesting because then I'd play Shining Force, and I liked that because I felt like most of the time you're in a strategy combat scenario, and that's pretty fun. Okay, let's see. MetaQuest 2 gets a permanent price drop to $199 for the 128 gigabyte version. You know, that seems great. I've used this more often than I had ever planned because I think we had 2 at our house at one point, and we sold one. The MetaQuest is awesome. You could do so much with it. It's gotten my son into game development. He's even made VR games that he can load into the VR. It's crazy. But they have the MetaQuest 3 that it's like someone like me that likes to be more on the cutting edge when something comes out, I would get that. So here's the other part of this is I'm really only interested in getting the MetaQuest 3 because of this Gundam VR experience coming out soon, where it's not really a game, but it's a show or a movie or whatever that takes place within this timeline of the Gundam universe that I really like. And so far it looks like you are watching it happen, but I don't know if you play another silent character or you are the main character. It doesn't seem like that, but it's like you get to view the world as everything's happening. So that's made me think, I'd like to get the MetaQuest 3 to, I guess, play it at its maximum potential or watch it at its maximum potential. But the 2 being $199 is such a good deal, especially because you can hook it up to your PC and do PC VR stuff. So, yeah, I think if you're wanting to try out VR, $199 for the MetaQuest 2 is fantastic. I did most of my VR playing with the PSVR. I played through all of Star Wars Squadrons with it. I played pretty much every VR game on PlayStation, my favorite being the Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball. Let's see. Todd Howard wants to avoid putting dates on Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5. Yeah, don't put dates on those games. Let's see. K-pop star BB releases an official Stellar Blade song. So yeah, Stellar Blade comes out next week. The demo is out right now. It's actually pretty fun, and the demo, how far you get in that, you can continue on in the game. That actually might be what I do this weekend then. I need to keep that in mind so I can talk about it Monday, because I need to finish the demo so I can give some proper impressions. My first impressions I gave before were just like, yeah, it seems like just a fun, just typical action game, but I want to get a little deeper in so I can see that loop of like, what is it like maneuvering the world? It's supposed to be open world. And, you know, what is it like exploring the world? That's always my thing with these. When you're given like an open zone scenario, what is the feel of exploring while being engaged with the gameplay? And you know what? Chad, my older brother, asked me to start doing more reviews, and I might do that. And so I think I'm going to do that every once in a while. If there's a game that like I feel compelled to really speak on, and I did that, I think, with did I do that with Double Dragon Gaiden? So I might do that with Stellar Blade, because I think to me, it's interesting that this is a PlayStation exclusive. This is Sony thinking, you know, maybe a year ago, like, hey, we need more exclusives. Here's just the standard action game. It's not a prestige third-person narrative. I'm interested because I think also Sony is going to make sure that whatever is exclusive on their console is good. Helldivers 2 being one. So, all right. The latest Spider-Man 2 update addresses disappearing save data. That's scary, but you know what? I haven't played much more Spider-Man 2. I was really shocked how much, even the first Spider-Man game, I played a bit and then I didn't bother finishing it until years later. And I think it was because I wanted to play the Miles game, and the Miles game is really good. So, you know. Ultronymous RIP, Uden Chronicles, the same team behind that, doing their Mighty Number 9 style run back. So it's the same team, but were they working with the guy from Mega Man? That's interesting. And then Midnight Hatter agreed, not every game deserves a deep look, but Dragon's Dogma Gaiden, Dragon's Dogma. Double Dragon Gaiden was such a unique entry. Yeah, it was. You know what? Another game too that I need to do a look into is this Mickey Mouse or Disney Illusion Island on Switch. It literally is a Castlevania game, but with more like Super Meat Boy platforming. And there's boss battle. It's crazy because there's like I'm playing with my wife and I played it together. We played through it and we would keep checking the map where to go. And I'm like, wow, I'm playing Castlevania. And then like I showed her later, hey, well, yeah, she came to my desk. I was like, hey, this is the Castlevania game I'm playing. Look how much it looks like that Disney game. She's like, oh wow, it's kind of cool that they did that. Let's see. Ultronimus, no, I mean they used to work for Konami. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. There's a lot of that going on. That's very interesting, wasn't it? How Konami did a lot of interesting, innovative things, but then those creators would then leave and do their own things from Castlevania, from Mega Man, and then this gentleman that passed away. It's funny. Konami is like on that borderline of a responsible developer, you know. And then Ultronimus, yeah, didn't Double Dragon Gaiden have a new update not too long ago? Yes, it did, and it's pretty cool. I might have talked about it a week and a half ago, but I actually went through it. The survival mode's fun. It's got online co-op. It's got new characters, which are awesome. One of them does like Drunken Master style combat. That it was great. Yeah, so I already unlocked all the characters and levels. All right, Universal Studios Japan's Donkey Kong expansion has been delayed to late 2024. Not too big of a deal. What's interesting is not even an hour north of me, they're building a Nintendo World. I don't know how long that's going to take, but that would be awesome. Fallout TV show returning for a second season. Good for them. Couldn't really get into it, but the more that adapted games or media properties look like their source material, the better. Like Barbie, Mario of last year, I'm glad those were successful and they feel like you're in that world, and I want to see that continue. Then they can go back and redo Halo properly. And I feel bad because I think that actor that plays Master Chief is awesome, but you can't have Master Chief take off his helmet. That was the gimmick, everybody. That was the gimmick. All right, let's see. Global Games Fund offers devs from emerging markets up to 50,000. Interesting. You know, you would think with everything going on with the games industry, might have to look deeper into that to see what's really going on. Arena Breakout Infinite, never heard of that. Actually, I have. Well, it's like the FPS. Yeah. Wolf Among Us 2. Oh, a Fallout 76 expansion coming soon. That's pretty good for people that are jumping into this. And so that's another thing. Because of Fallout, I'm hearing more people talk about Fallout 76, and they're like, it's actually not bad. It was bad when it came out. Now it's better, but you can actually play it like a single player experience. But then it has MMO options to it. So yeah, so if anyone that's watching this has played Fallout 76, let me know what you think below in the comments. The Witcher renewed for 5th and final season. Good for that. Even though I hadn't really watched it. I played the second and third game, never beat it, but I liked the action. It was just sometimes after a while, I just move on. I don't know. Maybe I get enough of it. Okay, a lot of the same news there. Let's see. Let me just look real quick. Anything major? Let me do this video game news. See if anything crazy pops out. I don't think so. I think a lot of news has been kind of slow this week. Yeah. Yep. Nothing too crazy. I saw this. The countdown to Summer Game Fest begins. So I always love this stuff because it's just a fun time to announcements, like announcements, especially this year for 2024, it seems like, what are we expecting to come out later? I know there's the Elden Ring DLC, but hopefully this can talk about some more stuff coming out. But you know what? This was just a link to a podcast, actually. So it's not like I am going to be able to read any information out of this other than, yeah, let's see, any information about the summer. Okay, Friday, June 7th. Very cool. Very cool. So let's see, all of our events. Let's see. So, industry showcase, I am 8-bit Double Fine showing Day of the Devs, Devolver stuff. Let's see. We got an Xbox showcase, future game show. That's good. Capcom showcase, Ubisoft. Man, it's really interesting how this Summer Games Fest has pretty much become E3. And even like last year, even the year before, there would be drops that day that are announced. So hopefully that happens again. It's something to look forward to because I really do feel like there's been a little bit of lull of interesting game announcements. That's why I've had time to go back to Dragon's Dogma, honestly, just because there's not much gaming stuff going on. Let's see. Midnight Hatter, hey, I'm an emerging market. Can I get some of that? Oh, Halo should have been a movie. Yeah, I almost feel like you can encapsulate Halo into a movie event. And then, if needed, do a TV show to expand on things. And I think that's kind of what that first game showed, is you can kind of have this contained story. And then, yeah, go on from there. Let's see. We're still dealing with the Fallout. Autonomous Odd, I feel like Summer Games Fest usually starts at the beginning of the week. Or am I going crazy? Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to my work, I never know what days are anymore. Yeah, it's almost as if people are taking time to actually finish games now. Halo 1 is definitely built like a movie. Yeah, so... Yeah, that's the thing with Halo. I feel like... I used to love Halo, and it's interesting. The Star Wars thing did the same thing to me. It's like at one point, once these creations come out that are hard to resonate with, I just move away from it. Yet it's funny how like Gundam's pulled me in, X-Men's pulled me back in. But yeah, I think that does it for today's show. Thanks for everyone that joined. Kind of a slow news week in general. We just heard about layoffs and people complaining about DLC, but yeah, can't wait to see what I get into this weekend because I'll have fun talking about that Monday. So yeah, everyone have a good rest of the day, weekend. And yeah, we'll talk Monday. Peace out.